So for the next 20 minutes or so, we are changing the mood, less laid back and more boundless energy and thoughtful lyrics. We're looking at a California ska, rock, reggae and pop punk band who have toured with some of the greats in those genres, which I'm sure we will cover soon. On Skype, I have Tara, lead vocals in the band. 2:30. Hello!
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. When I first heard your tunes, I felt kind of transported back to my kind of late teens, early 20s, listening to Real Big Fish, Less Than Jake, No Doubt, Letters to Cleo maybe. I don't know if these are welcome comparisons for 2:30.
Oh, I like those sorts of comparisons because I think a lot of those are influences of our beginnings of our band, and those are really great bands I love myself. And I think, too, we're from Orange County, California, where a lot of the bands that you mentioned are sort of like attributed to. So, yeah, our sound is going to sound similar, and I don't mind at all. So, thank you.
Good. 9 members in the band, a proper stage invasion. Tell us about who isn't here today.
Oh my gosh, yes, there are 9 people in our band, if you can imagine. So I only sing, and then there's Max, who plays guitar. We have our other lead guitarist, Cameron, our bass player, Mark. I'm like literally going through like the stage in my mind. Dan is our drummer. We have 3 horn players, Jack, Jin, and Jordy. And then David on the other side of the stage there plays keys. Yeah, that's all of us. We're all sort of different backgrounds. 3 of us I would consider to be original members because our band is quite seasoned, I'll say. We started in high school and we just sort of never really wanted to stop, never saw a reason to. It's ska music. What's the worst that could happen? Or what's the best that could happen? We've been along for the ride.
Your website says it's been over 10 years. How did the band come about? You just mentioned high school.
Yeah, we've been a band for almost 14 years now. And it's because in high school, there was the talent show and the band sort of like formed for that. It actually had a different name and I was not in it yet. I went to school with my friends and they had this band. So after high school, changed the name around the time we got out of high school. That's what's so silly about our name. Like our name is 2:30 and it was literally the time we got out of school, like out of high school. Kind of embarrassing to say, but it's endearing, I like to think. You know, it's just been a long time and there 3 of us are still original members, which is amazing. And through all the iterations of the band, it's a band. People come and they go. And when you have 9 people in a band, then it's easy to see a lot of changes, you know. But this iteration of our band right now, I feel is stronger than it's almost ever been. So I'm really happy as far as we've come.
Yeah, absolutely. With 9 people, I can imagine life gets in the way. They've got bills to pay and can't come to practices and that kind of thing. And being a grown up sucks. I get it.
Yeah, it's things like that. There have been times when I've like left and then came back because you can get jaded doing anything. But with music, it can be especially one of those experiences because you're like, sometimes when you're doing it for a long time, you're like, what am I doing? What? You wake up one day, you're like, what am I doing? Making, especially for us, you know, just kind of like poppy ska music that we like. And that's what it is. It's just something we like to do. So we're happy to do it.
Yeah, well, do you know what? There's a substantial audience out there who I think are going to be very appreciative that you bothered. Now, you offered me a choice of songs to play, and I went with one that's got a really sweet video. The video that dropped on YouTube about a year ago. It's also known as Neely's song. I understand that there's 2 different versions of it. Which would you like to play?
I don't know. If you want a more ska version, I guess you would play the new version.
With one version a little bit more mellow and the other one a little bit more ska. Let's play the ska one and then point people towards the video for Shine from 2:30 if you want to know more. Obviously, after the show.
Okay, cool.
Done. 2:30, the song is Shine. Really positive and lovely lyrics. Maybe I took a bit more notice because the video was quite touching too. There are 2 versions of the song, both great on YouTube, but it's the first one that released that I'd like to ask about.
That is great because that is the original version, and I wrote this song for my daughter who has spinal muscular atrophy. I mean, I sort of wrote it for her and for me. It was a experience. Whenever you go through like a very traumatic experience. I think it was like cathartic. It was just like, I didn't know how to feel. I was very overwhelmed with getting the diagnosis because it's a rare disease. It's the most common rare disease. It was overwhelming. So I put pen to paper and I wrote it, and I didn't ever plan on releasing it because it was too hard. To be honest, the song was a lot sadder. And then one of my bandmates was going through our files and he found it and he said, we need to do something with this. I was really reluctant, and the band like really rallied and were pushing me to do it, you know. It was a good feeling because I was really low at that point. So we did it sort of together, and we did it acoustic because everyone wanted it to be more personal. I sort of used it as a way for people to get some awareness for like what it is, but also the video was sort of like awareness for people so that they know that our band, especially, people see us and they think that we're just like happy-go-lucky, all the time, peppy, and we are. That's our music, and we like being that way. But you know what? Like, sometimes things are hard. You don't know what everyone's going through. And I thought that was like an important message to share. So that's kind of why we put that song out. And then we got to re-release it in, was it June of last year, on a compilation called Ska Against Racism that was put on by Asian Man Records and Bad Time Records and Ska Punk Daily. They raised a lot of money for some really great causes, and we did it full band on that one. So that was really fun, because then I did get to get all 9 of the guys and their input on the song, and they really brought a lot of life to it. And I feel like before, where people might have been saddened by the first version, which is totally fine because that's how I felt when I wrote it, the new version is just even more hopeful than the first version. So I'm happy to talk about Shine. I'm happy to spread awareness for spinal muscular atrophy, and it's just a very special song to me. It always will be. I'm always touched by when people tell me that there's something about it that, you know, resonates with them or whatever.
I must admit, I watched it with Mrs. Offbeat Reggae Radio, and the both of us just went, I think we like this band even more because of what we've just watched. Like we just thought it was really lovely.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
So shows are cancelled or postponed for many bands, and aside from doing bits and bobs online, there isn't often much to promote. I mean, is there anything that you'd like to talk about or push at this point?
Like you said, no shows, nothing like that going on, but we're working on an album this year. We were supposed to have it come out last year, but the circumstances changed everything. So yeah, we've been slowly working on it this year, and we have a new song coming out next month on March 17th, on St. Patrick's Day, and we just released a song called All About You. After that, we're hoping, our goal is to have a release every month so that there's just more 2:30 to love, and it gives us something to sort of work towards. So just new music, lots of new music. Like I said, those 2 singles are fresh on my mind. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, we're planning to play one of them next. Do you want to tell us a bit more about that and then lead us into it?
Sure. This is the first time we ever have taken on a song by somebody else. We had a friend approach us, and he said, I have this song. His name is Daniel Torres, and he said, I really would like 2:30 to sort of work on it. This was before COVID, and so he sort of handed the song over, and we were like, great, let's work on it. And we never got to work on it together. So what we ended up doing was taking it and running almost, because there was no way for us to get him. We were doing things really separately ourselves, so it was hard for us to see like bringing in another person basically into our little circle, no matter how much we wanted. We just went into the studio little by little, and I actually had a lot of input on it. I don't really do that, but for this album, I'm sort of challenging myself because I've been in this band for so long. There are a lot of things I'd like to try, and writing music is one of them. So we went in a direction that was mostly my doing. That's kind of why it's so sweet and like light, because that's just how I see it, and that's sort of how I wake up and go throughout my day. Honestly, that's what I hear in my head. just like sweetness. And he told me the song was about his daughter, and so I just thought about my kids, and I thought about my husband and my dog, even the things that make me get up in the morning and go on and on and on.
Let's get it played. 2:30, all about you. Offbeat Reggae Radio, playing the finest reggae, rocksteady, root stub and ska. This is Andy, still on the phone with Tara from 2:30. The song that you just heard, All About You, is out now. Now, looking at the list of bands that you've toured with or supported, it's really quite impressive. Real Big Fish, The Toasters, Less Than Jake, The Selector, The English Beat, Pat O'Banton. Come on. I was particularly impressed by that one.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a long time ago, and I think we just got lucky because someone in my band was like booking the show, and we were like, let's do it. Can you make this happen? So it was really cool. I think we've been really lucky. There have been so many cool experiences that the band has had. In the beginning, Aaron Barrett from Real Big Fish, we handed him our demo at a burger joint like by our high school because we saw him there, and he took it, and guess what? He liked it. He said, I want to produce your next whatever. So he produced our EP, and then he produced our only album that we have right now, It's About Time. So that sort of like got our foot like in the door and got us dedicated to what we were doing, because we just felt so special, especially when we started the band. Ska music around here in the States was not particularly a good thing. People weren't happy about it or going to shows or listening to it. But yeah, that was like such a good experience to have. He, like I said, took us under his wing, and he took us on a couple tours with Real Big Fish. That's how we sort of started meeting people. Then Toasters, all those other shows. The Selector. Okay, we've gotten to open for The Selector, I think 3 times now. And the last time, Pauline Black like remembered me. I thought that was like the coolest I think I've ever felt in my entire life. Yeah, I just feel so, for lack of a better word, like blessed, I guess, to get to do what we're doing, because we just rub elbows with people that we've like admired for so long. Ska punk bands like Mustard Plug, or like you said, like the Toasters, they've taken us on tour more than like any other band. Which is so funny when I tell people that, they're like, Bucket is so scary. Like, you just seem so like, peppy. How does that work? He's such a sweetheart. Don't let that face fool you. He's so nice.
You're ruining his brand.
I guess so. I know. But you know what? I just want everyone to know that he's such a sweetie pie. But I think everyone's a sweetie pie, so... And then now, I think one of the best experiences that I'm having is just being in a ska band today, because all of a sudden, people care. Younger people, older people, there's like a ska scene on fire right now. And it's amazing. It's so fun to be a part of it. I am having so much fun just getting to know new people and getting to hear new bands, and yeah, getting to talk to people like you, Andy. This is just, it's so much fun. I feel fortunate.
Well, if this is a high point, then I feel blessed myself. Right, well, I've had a lovely time talking to you. Thank you so much. What we'll do is move on to the band and a song that you have chosen, which is either an influence or one that you think that we should listen to. What did you choose and why?
I would consider them both, although they were like a new influence. I chose the band Bad Operation. They're from New Orleans, Louisiana, USA. And they are new. They literally just formed the band at the beginning of last year, and they released their album in December. Their sound sort of like harkens back to like an older traditional ska sound, but it's so new and like refreshing, and at the same time, I wouldn't say like a lyrics like snob, but I love reading other people's lyrics, and I just think a lot of Dominic's lyrics are very clever. They're not even just clever, they're funny. They can be funny, but they have a message too at the same time. So I thought that was really cool, because we're a band that We're kind of like fun all the time. Not that we don't have convictions and, you know, things that we believe in and stuff. It's just hard for me to translate that into music. So I think that this band is both fun and meaningful, and that's what I treasure, I guess, about them.
Tara, from 2:30, thank you so much for chatting to me today. I very much appreciate it. If you will lead us out with your chosen song.
All right, yeah, this is Peachy by Bad Operation.
Bad Operation and Peachy, it is the choice as an influence and also a track that we need to listen to from Tara. She's still with me. Hello.
Hi.
I thought I'd keep you on just to let you know every single person that I talk to ends up with their own page on the Offbeat Reggae Radio website. I will be doing the same for 2:30 as well. If you are very kind and will allow me to have a bio and an image, I will shove it up there and then add links to everywhere that 2:30 has so that people can find out that little bit more about you.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Please check us out. Like I said, we have a lot of new stuff coming up and new releases, and we love making music videos, so look for those too.
I've watched all of them. They're amazing. But anyway, let's move on with the show. Thank you very much. More information on 2:30 from offbeatreggae.com.